Because games and practices, especially when you're coaching, there's so much prep, there's so much pressure. Like you are, I don't know if you, this is just I have zero knowledge. This is my personal opinion. If you listen to Jacques after games, like it takes a lot out of you. And don't forget, he hasn't been on the ice for any practices. He can't go on the ice. He's had some surgeries done. I think he will have a role with this team, a big role. But I just think, and I'd love to see him coach. I honestly, I've had him as a coach. I know exactly what he does. I think he's tremendous. I just think at this stage in his life, he stays on as a consultant and has a pretty big role because he's the guy laying down the foundation. And honestly, the more I think about it, I think John Gruden will be the coach here next year. And Jacques stays in as an advisor. Capuano's back, and they try and convince Alfie to stay on as a coach. And there's your coaching staff. And Jacques is kind of an advisor. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
I agree because I think we've speculated on it a ton, and I see the tweets come through and people different views, but it just nobody's asked him, and he's 71 years old, so it's more his decision than anybody else's. I think they would love. I agree. I think he'll be with the organization in a capacity, kind of an eye in the sky. I don't know if he wants to travel anymore. You don't know all these different things, right? So I do believe that he is laying the ground and the foundation that the next coach is going to come in and emphasize. So he's putting in place and say, like, if I'm Steve Staios and I'm interviewing coaches and I'm saying, look what Jacques Martin did. This is what we want. This is what we've seen. This is working for us. And the new coach is going to come in. He's going to be younger. He's going to be a little louder, and he's going to be a little probably. I can't say what Jacques is day to day on how hard he is on guys, but they just need a different voice from DJ. That much is evident by the way they're playing now. But I don't think he's back next year. I don't think he wants to be back. And I think they need a younger coach. That's the generation does need younger coaches now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's a very taxing, difficult, like it's exhausting, man. After games as a coach, I could just tell you from coaching junior, like it takes a ton out of you. And Jacques still in great shape, and sure he'd like when he initially came in, it was to be a consultant, and this opportunity came up. I'm sure he loves it, but I'm just thinking of and I'm a believer too. 82 games. It's nice to have your coach on the ice for at times to set the tone. And but hey, he's done a great job. Like, and I love him as a coach. My favorite coach I've had, and he's done an amazing job. But I don't see him back in a major role with this organization of continuing on with the culture they're building right now.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big thing. Your coach has to be on the ice.
Yeah.
And now Yorkie, I could be wrong. Didn't Pat Quinn not run practices?
A lot of times, here's the thing. A lot of times your assistant coaches will run the practices, and that's a great opportunity. Some of your best conversations is when your head coach skates over when you're in line and you have a chat with them sometime, during the practice. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Just little informal chats from now and then go a long way. After practice or before, like it's a perfect time to have one of those chats. And I always like those things. And I remember, I played for Ron Wilson. He'd do all that all the time. A lot of coaches did that. And, I'm with you, Bob. I think your head coach over 82 games, it is important that you're on the ice.
Yeah.
Okay. But if he were to run this team with a 650 winning percentage for the last remainder of the games, do you not go maybe? Maybe
you go maybe. Yeah, you go maybe, but that's it. And then you start to interview the field, and then you start to get a feel for what the field is. And the field's a lot different than Jacques is at his age. And I just think the younger generation is going to have a younger coach for the most part, and somebody that's on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm just trying to be the other side of this because it just seems to me he's done everything we would want a coach to do.
Yeah. I mean, he could only go up.
But no.
Yeah. He could only go up, and the guys are clearly responding to him, clearly by the way they're playing. Yeah. But I don't see it as a long-term solution.
Okay. So, the last thing I want to ask about this though, if he is there's no way they should get rid of him. And I understand like an advisor role, but if you're the new guy coming in, and let's say you're an inexperienced head coach, a la like a John Gruden type, do you not feel like someone's always looking over your shoulder and questioning everything you do?
Well, that somebody always is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, every coach is going to feel that way because somebody always.
It's different if it's a GM though, because a GM's not always a head coach. I'm just saying, there's a guy that had the team. Well, one is a guy that knows how to coach. The other one is just a guy that makes the decisions.
When you go in, when like GMs and coaches have meetings all the time where the GM's just giving it to the coach.
Oh yeah.
Like, when he's up watching up in the box and things aren't going well, believe me, he's not saying nice things about the coach.
Right. But that doesn't mean he knows how to coach.
True.
Usually most GMs have coached at some time or not.
Yorkie, let me put it to you this way. You're not worried if you are the head coach that Steve Staios is coming out of the GM box and going on the ice as the head coach. If you have Jacques Martin there, who just ran the team to an incredible record after losing seasons, aren't you like, that's a little different to me. That's all.
As a head coach, you're worried every single day. You're always worried. That's your job, to be worried, because at the NHL, just look at coaches get fired all the time.
I get you.
If you're worried because you get the job and Jacques Martin's there in his advisory role, then you probably shouldn't be coaching because you can't handle the pressure.
I get you. Okay. Now, last thing though, if they struggle under new coach, are the fans going to lose their collective minds going, well, why didn't you just leave Jacques then?
Yes. Yes, they will, but they're going to say, "Hey, we made our decision and we're sticking to it." Yeah, okay. They're going to do it. We're going to do that no matter what. We're going to break it all down. That's what we do. No. This is
why playing at the highest level's the best, because there's so much shit on the line all the time. These are what guys. This is what like guys crave. Mm-hmm. The ultimate stake, lots of money on the line, like everything. That's what you play for. That's what you coach for. Pressure. Yeah.
Not everybody likes the pressure.
Well, anyone that makes the NHL loves pressure.